What's going on, family? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. So we've done a extraordinary amount of testing with my boy Luocha, and I think it's time we explain to you guys how I think he should be built based off of the experiences I've had in the MOC, which, by the way, we cleared the whole MOC. We'll show that in a bit. Full disclosure, you might hear some fireworks popping off because it is 4th of July. Happy 4th. They've been popping them tonight too. Them boys out there popping fireworks like acne in middle school. That was a lot of popping. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and give you guys a full-blown Luocha guide as to how to build them, what substats do you need, what are the best relics, all the good stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, we just cleared the MOC. We can 3-star every single floor. We still got 5 days left. We're probably gonna try and do that. But the problem with 3-starring these last 2 floors, getting off topic, is we need more survivability. And really, what I mean by survivability is we just need to take one of our teams up. Our second team is doing just fine. We only have one healer, but our first team needs more survivability, and because of that, we had to run a tank and a healer. That should never be the case. If that is the case, that means you are lacking survivability, probably investment in relics, traces, and level, all of the above. But with that being said, I've been using Luocha on all these floors, so I've had a lot of answers to the questions I had, and with regards to him being a DPS, with regards to him being a healer, and what should he be running. So let's go ahead and talk about that. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, guys, my man is squishier than Magikarp. My boy Timo is tankier than Luocha, and that's one of his biggest downfalls. My guy, for real, needs high survivability. He has the lowest defense percent scaling in the game. There's a number of characters that are in that same category, but he has the lowest defense percent scaling in the game. Because of that, he gets dropped a lot. I made the mistake of trying to min-max him with crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent, and just like discarded the thought of building any type of survivability, and my boy was getting washed. All right, I got sent to the Shadow Realm so many times. I dapped up Shao Kahn, I dapped up Quan Chi, you know what I'm saying? I hollered at Reptile, and then I came back out of there and I was like, bro, I'm done with the Shadow Realm, man. All right, my man needs some survivability. So ideally enough, it's odd because in Genshin Impact, whenever you would see HP percent and defense percent substat rolls, you automatically associated them with being bricks or garbage and just like probably, you know, turning it into fodder. Well, honestly, in this game, they're much more prevalent, and a lot of characters actually do need those HP percent and defense percent substat rolls. Mainly, ideally, this man Luocha. I actually think one of the best substats you could get on Luocha is defense percent and HP percent. I do. Now, I don't know if anybody else has said this. I haven't watched a single guide because I don't like watching anybody's guides until after I make my guide, because I like to compare thoughts, and if I watch them before, it gets in the way of my own creative process and my own thoughts and conclusions that I've come to. So I don't know if anybody else is saying this, but this man is so damn squishy. I mean it. It's absolutely worth building some survivability into his kit. Ideally, I'll give you a ballpark number. Ideally, I think a perfect Luocha is around 3,500 HP. If you get higher, good. And defense needs to be around 1,000. By the way, mine is looking pretty juicy right now, which we'll get into this in a bit. But you don't actually have to run like a HP percent or defense percent main stat in order to achieve this. You do need to mid-max your relics substats. So let's go ahead and get into that here in a bit. Relic wise, I think the best sets for him are going to be the Musketeer of the Wild Wheat. I think the Imaginary set is the best in slot for his kit by design, but it's also the most difficult to achieve and also very niche. I don't think you should run the Imaginary set unless you have Welt, because Welt makes it incredibly easy to apply that 4-piece passive, which 10% increase the crit rate when they're debuffed, another 20% crit damage when they're imprisoned. Welt will make that happen, no problem. I don't think you should run the Imaginary set unless you're running a mono Imaginary team composition. If you're not running that, this set is its value goes down significantly. So because of that, it's actually outside of that, the best in slot set I think is actually going to be the Musketeer of the Wild Wheat. Now there's a number of ways you could run him. Again, he needs survivability. So if you're thinking, what if I run him with like 2-piece reduced damage taken by 8%, this bad boy right here, with like 2-piece defense, or 2-piece attack percent increased by 12%. You can do that. There's some options. There's definitely some leeway here with flexibility of building, but ideally I think Musketeer of Wild Wheat and Imaginary with the mono Imaginary team comp are going to be your best bets. Now, with regards to sub stats, I think Luocha should be built with a combination mixture of survivability with attack percent and some offense. I don't think you should go all survivability or all offense. I think the best build for him is going to be a mixture of a little bit of everything. Now, normally I don't say this, but this is one of those characters where his healing is actually so good that it's easy to mislead somebody into thinking, oh, we need all the attack percent main stats. Similar to you or Ting Yun. People probably thought attack percent all across the board. It's not the case, not with him either. His healing is actually very good. In fact, if I come over here to his traces, I only have 6, 4, and 3 right here. This is the most important one. We'll get into this as well. But if you come over here to these traces, I don't have him invested as high as he actually should be. But his healing is just phenomenal the way where I'm at right now. He's doing a great job with the heals. And his attack's not even that high yet. He's only at 2,482 with the build I have on. So once he's taken to 80 and the light cone's taken 80, he's gonna be at 3,000 attack, no question about it. Not to mention what's it called? This bad boy right here is not even taken up. Now I know I'm all over the place. We're gonna get back to everything and get a little organized. I'm just trying to make an argument here that his healing is so good that you don't need a lot of attack percent main stats. You need 2 at max, if that. Honestly, I think you're fine with 1, especially if you have somebody on the team like Yukong or Asta who's giving an attack percent buff to the entire team. Branya, there's many ways to increase attack percent without actually having to build it into your build. So with that being said, best main stats for him is going to be crit rate right here, speed right here, we'll elaborate on that, imaginary right here, and then attack percent right here. Now let's go over why. Obviously, crit rate, he's able to actually deal some decent damage with his autos and with his ult. His ult can actually ult for about 25k if you min-max him correctly. His autos can auto for about 5 to 7k if you min-max him correctly. So him critting can contribute to DPS overall. But if you don't want him to DPS at all, his #1 goal is to primarily heal, remove debuffs off of enemies, and remove crowd control off of a character on your party. So if you're saying I just want to focus on him healing and surviving, you can totally eliminate the DPS often. He does not need the DPS at all. He really doesn't. But it is an option because he's capable of doing so. So survivability wise, you can actually go for defense percent right here or HP percent. You could do that. But if you're going for DPS, crit rate's going to be the best option right here. And I think you should go for speed. Now, I did consider that this man, I don't know if you know this, but if he deploys his field, his turn duration is based off of him and not off of everybody else. So if you don't build him for speed at all, you actually get double the uptime on his field deployment, his field of healing you. So if he's slow, you get double the uptime on his field. But I tried this out and then I tried the speed build, and speed build's better. Why? Speed build skill point generation is much more efficient because he attacks more often. His energy recharge is much better because he attacks twice instead of 1 time. And if he gets delayed without speed, he might not even attack 1 time in that turn. And then the final option is because he also is dealing more damage because he's attacking more often. So you got a triple W right there, or a triple L if you don't build in the speed. So I think speed is just better because of the skill point efficiency, the energy recharge, and the more damage. It's just better. Now I do think he still should go last, because if he goes faster than anybody else on your team, then that person's not going to be inside of that field deployment of more heals being funneled. Hopefully that makes sense. So I think speed's the best option right here by default. However, if you're on a budget build, sure, go for an attack percent until you get you a speed option. I think right here, imaginary for DPS. And if you're not DPSing, if you're only worried about survivability, attack percent is definitely where you want to go to get stronger heals. And then finally right here, for DPS, attack percent. Do not go energy recharge if you're doing the speed build. If you're doing the slow build, again, I don't think it's better than the speed build, but if you are doing the slow build, energy recharge is where you want to go because he doesn't attack as much. But if you're doing the speed build, which I think is the best build to go for, energy recharge is a horrible idea. He only has 100 energy cost burst, which is equivalent to a 40 cost burst in Genshin Impact. And he attacks 2 times. He has a auto cast skill that gives him the same energy as actually casting his skill, which is 30, mind you. The man don't need no energy recharge right here, not at all. Now I did consider break effect, and he's actually the only healer who actually can contribute to good break effect, getting the shield, dwindling it down. He's actually decent, but he's not as good as Silverwolf. He doesn't have a 90 cost toughness ult. He only has a 60, and then he only does 30 with his auto like most people. So break effect is not really a reliable option for him right here as well. I truly think the best option for him is just attack percent. Better healing, more damage. It's just where it's at. So I do think that's where it's at right here. Now, again, sub stats, I think you need to have a mixture of defense percent, HP percent, some crit rate, some crit damage, and then to fill the gaps on those like one-off sub stats, speed or attack percent as well. Obviously you do want to get some attack percent in here as well, but just take a look at my Musketeer of the Wild set. I'll show you. This is actually, and I didn't do this on purpose either. I had this set and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. We got HP percent right here. Maybe take a roll away here and put some crit rate right here. That would have been a better, mid-max. Come over here to this piece. We got attack percent, speed, and crit damage. We will take those. It just sucks that we got a flat defense. I would have preferred a defense percent or obviously a crit rate. And then right here on the crit stat, we got HP percent, attack percent, defense percent. You might think that's garbage. It's actually amazing because I'm telling you, he's incredibly freaking squishy. Again, the flat defense is a brick, but you can't help that. You're going to have those one-offs. It would have been nice if it was more crit damage or effect resistance or even speed. That would have been nice too. And then finally for our speed, we got attack percent, defense percent, crit damage, and then a brick. It happens. But for the most part, we have a mixture of DPS, a mixture of survivability, and all we need to do is fill in those gaps of like speed and effect resistance, which, if I'm being honest with you, we pretty much did on this build. Yeah, look at this. This is damn near perfect. It's nice. This is the only brick we have because you got flat attack, flat HP, but I do like my crit rate and my crit damage, and it is only level 6, but the problem is this is not supposed to be attack percent. This is supposed to be imaginary damage. But all in all, if you look at this, we got level 6, level 12, 12, 13, 12, 12. We still got to finish this guy up. Look at this. 3,844, 2,482, 1,024, 133 speed. And then we got to get this up just a little bit higher. We can. We still got some room for growth. But this is a beautiful Luocha, and he's only level 70. This is only level 70, almost. Once we get him to 80, once we get this to 80, traces get all filled in. This is a beautiful Luocha. I'll be honest with you. Like this is almost as perfect as I can get him. The problem though that I want you guys to understand is that I have this 5-star light cone here, which I think is his second best in slot. I didn't think it was that good at first, but look at this real quick. He has 3,844 HP and 1,024 defense. Look what happens when I switch it off to this one. Now this is level 60. It does need to be ascended to 60 plus and taken up for a better comparison, but just look at this drop, bro. We're sitting at 2,950. We went from 3,800 down to 2,950. Our defense went from 1,024 down to 878. Again, if we ascended up, defense will be a little bit closer, but the scaling on that other one is beautiful. So we really like that other one, not necessarily for what it does down here, except this is really cool. This is huge for him. The HP and the outgoing healing is nice. I don't care about this. It's really the stat stick though. All of these stats are massive for Luocha survivability, which I love. So speaking of light cones, what do I think are the best light cones in the game for him? Let's go ahead and go over here to the data bank, go down to abundance. I think this is trash. I think this is mid as hell. It's okay. It's like the free to play option that you got, so you're gonna use it. I think where are we at? I think this is his second best in slot. I really do. This shit is incredible, I promise, because it fills his survivability weakness. Outside of that, he's nowhere near as tanky. Obviously, I'm not even gonna mention this is best in slot. No fucking shit it is. This one right here, increase the wearer's outgoing healing by 10% and then regenerate 2 energy for all allies. Man, if you get more copies of this is a phenomenal option as well. I just don't like the 396 defense at the same time, because if you look at this is 463 defense. I get it, it's a 5-star, but still that's why I like it, because these have higher defensive scaling. Damn, actually this one's 396 too. What the hell? Okay, I didn't know that. So they're all pretty squishy. Well, an argument can be made that that is another W for this one right here. This survivability is just amazing. Now I do like this one. This one's really good. Increase effect resistance by 16%, which is pretty much going to guarantee you to never ever get crowd controlled by anybody because of his broken trace perk as well that resists crowd control by 70%. But you still have to worry about getting burns on him and, you know, things, dots basically. This will help with that as well as getting crowd controlled. And then to top all of this off, you get healing based off of it as well. So this is a really good option. It also has decent, it's all right. 423 here is solid, 396, 952. When we compare that to everything else, what is this, 950? Okay, same exact stats. This one here is just yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But then the HP scaling on this one is also, whew, and the attack. And I'm telling you, man, that one's a banger, bro. But after all of that, I think this is the worst one because of the very low attack percent. Yeah, I think this is the worst one because of the very low attack percent. I'm just not a fan of this one. Do not get the battle pass for him. I do like the healing for the other party, but he literally already does that. So it's like, it's overkill in the healing department. He's already a phenomenal healer. So yeah, if I had to rank them, number 1, number 2, I'd tie this one with this one probably. I think these two are just as good. And then, yeah, probably number 4. Number 4 right here. And then 5, 6. I think this one's horrible, man. I mean, it's all right. They're both pretty bad. This one's bad and this one's bad. I'll be honest. There's gonna be some salty kid who has this like multiple copies who's gonna be like, it's better than he says it is. It's not really, bro. Stay on the back. All right. Anyways, guys. Okay. Trace priority. Let me move this over here. God, I wasn't even paying attention. Hopefully my camera wasn't in the way of anything important earlier. I have a consistent way of doing that. Trace priority. I think this is the number 1 priority. This is the one that's going to give you a heal based off of Luocha's attack, and it is the person that is attacking. So if you are about to die and you attack, you're going to get a juicy heal on that character you're attacking with. So I like that a lot. This is the highest priority for me. His skill is a broken scaling percentage. Like it's absurd. I could leave it at 3 for the rest of eternity and his heal is still going to be absurdly high. So I think this is last priority. I wouldn't invest in this first. It's just not I don't recommend it, bro. It's strong. It's very potent. It's actually kind of broken. The next thing I would recommend investing in is going to be his ult and his auto attack. These are if you're contributing to DPS. Now, if you're only going survivability and heal, then obviously you're not going to touch these with a 10-foot pole. You're only going to touch these two right here, with this one being a higher priority. But outside of that, bro, you go for all the HP and defense little traces that you can. This man is incredibly squishy. It's a no-brainer that you want to go like you're going to fill the whole tree up, right? But priority wise, I think these are more important than the attack percent ones because the man is so damn squishy. But with that being said, yeah, you want to fill up the whole tree eventually. He gets incredibly reliable once you unlock this, which I haven't yet. But we've been doing fine just without it so far. Actually, before we move on, I do want to mention his healing is absolute garbage until you unlock this. So if you're somebody who's playing Luocha without unlocking this, buddy, that boy is Booty Cheek Chronicles. You got to unlock this bad boy right here, as well as this to remove debuffs. So I thought that was a no-brainer, so I almost forgot to mention it. Now, I guess we can gloss over his Eidolons. Like me, again, I'm not a whale, so if you're somebody who's considering getting his E1, this is cool. Attack of all allies increased by 20%. There's some value there. I don't think it's worth picking up, but it is some value there. And if you got it, good for you. This one right here, when his skill is triggered, if the target's ally HP is lower than 50%, Luocha's outgoing healing increases by 30%. Damn, I didn't know it did that. If the target's allies HP is at 50% or higher, ally receives a shield that can absorb damage equal to 18% of Luocha's attack. Damn, he gets a shield? I did not know that. That's pretty cracked. When Luocha's field is active, enemies become weakened. Oh, vulnerability. Wow, that's a multiplier. That's actually, it's a separate multiplier from additive damage bonuses. So this is a massive value. E4 though, I don't know. When ultimate is used, there's a 100% fixed chance to reduce. Oh, he has effect hit rate? What in the name? Oh wait, 100% fixed chance. Oh, so you can't even, effect hit rate does not affect this at all. Okay. To reduce all enemies, all type of, oh, fuck, that's a massive damage bonus to your DPSs as well. Wow. So it's a Silver Wolf debuff, but even better. Damn. Okay. Yeah, like I said, man, I don't know. I never can take this seriously because the amount of money that you have to spend on this is just ludicrous. But I think this is cool if you pick this up. But me personally, this guy is actually somebody who's perfectly able to operate without picking up any Eidolons. So that's my thoughts on that. But yeah. at the end of the day, I think Luocha is performing incredibly well. He's done me a great service inside of the MLC, despite me not having my roster built up all the way. Hopefully this video brought you guys some value. Again, I think he is somebody who definitely needs some survivability, and once you tatty that up, he does his role incredibly well. Thanks for watching as always, guys, and I'll catch you on the flip side.